$5,000 donation for the SCS. Thank you so much for coming along. Beautiful to have your company. Great to see you, Jasper. See you next time on The Taste Australia.
Tonight, tourism fears as Virgin collapses. The reason doctors' surgeries are empty. Police crack down on domestic violence. And centenarian celebrating her birthday from a distance.
Across Mackay, the Whitsundays and the Coalfields, this is 7 News with Rob Brough.
Good evening. Thanks very much for joining us. Thousands of tourism operators right across our region are fearing for the future after Virgin announced it's going into voluntary administration. Now, though the airline has reassured customers this is not the end, politicians say a monopoly in the skies would see prices soar.
After days of speculation, Virgin's decision confirms some of regional Queensland's biggest fears.
Our board made a very courageous decision last night to put the company into voluntary administration.
Despite a $165 million lifeline from the federal government and handouts from 2 state governments, the company caved under $5 billion worth of debt. And a global pandemic, which the company has described as
It's the worst aviation crisis we've ever seen in our history.
In a post on Twitter, the airline tried to ease concerns, saying scheduled flights will go ahead as planned and travel credits will remain valid. But local politicians are worried regional Queensland is about to feel a lot more isolated.
This could be devastating for the Mackay community. People will just stop travelling, and that is no good for our economy. It's no good for our region, it's no good for our state, it's no good for our country.
Julianne Gilbert says a monopoly in our skies will cause a Qantas price hike, and that could be the final blow for tourism operators that rely on holidaymakers.
We need to get it back up and going. There's a lot of operators that rely on this economy to keep their businesses and their doors open. So we need to reinstigate that travel, make sure we can get people back to the region as soon as possible.
Laura Lavelle, 7 News.
We recorded 6 new cases of COVID-19 overnight in Queensland, but no new cases have been confirmed here in Mackay. To ease the pressure on parents working from home during the lockdown, a local motel is renting vacant rooms as office space.
Mackay hasn't had a positive COVID-19 case for more than a week, but around the state, positive results are still being recorded.
Overnight we've had 6 positive cases, taking our total to 1,024.
6 is good, but it is not 0.
More than 730 of those patients have recovered, but the Chief Health Officer says it's too early to lift restrictions.
And you probably need to allow for 2 incubation periods before you can safely say that you're not going to get more cases.
All you need is 1 dinner party, 1 birthday party, and it could all be just blown out.
Many parents will be sharing an office classroom combination with their kids until at least May. A Mackay motel owner is offering empty rooms as office or study space.
A strange idea at first, and then we thought about it and the rooms are just sort of sitting empty.
Predominantly a corporate motel, the cancellations began pouring in after non-essential travel was banned.
We've got the Wi-Fi that we're still paying for. No one's using it, so just something that we can give back.
$25 will buy 3 hours of private office space. Rooms will be cleaned after each booking. Georgia Simpson, 7 News.
Mackay GPs are concerned that coronavirus is putting lives at risk because people are ignoring ongoing medical issues. Dr. John McIntosh claims his practice has seen a 50% drop in appointments, with patients not wanting to visit clinics during the health crisis.
This is the new normal at doctors' surgeries across Mackay, social distancing and barely a patient in sight. And it's a result of locals not wanting to get regular checkups.
At least 50%, if not more than that. I suspect in a lot of surgeries it's even 70% drop in throughput of patients actually attending for their regular checkups.
Dr. John McIntosh from the Mackay Super Clinic says he's seriously concerned about the medical consequences if people ignore their health.
Last week I had a patient with a melanoma. Now, if she hadn't come, if she'd waited 3 months, that would have spread and been absolutely a fatal outcome for that woman.
The Australian Medical Association agrees.
People with chronic diseases such as heart disease, lung disease and diabetes, it is paramount that they continue keeping in contact with their general practitioner.
We do not want the coronavirus to be killing people because their ordinary medical conditions are not properly treated.
Dr McIntosh says clinics are safer than supermarkets.
Doctors' waiting rooms are very safe because we have processes to filter out and make sure anybody with coughs, colds or potential coronavirus do not come into the waiting rooms.
Ashley Dwan, 7 News.
Police are looking for a man who was caught on camera smashing a glass door at Night Owl on Victoria Street. CCTV shows the shirtless man walking along the street just after 10 last night before he kicked the door and then ran away. Owner Lorraine Riddle says staying open during the pandemic has been hard enough. The damage bill could force her to close her doors.
They didn't even try or attempt to enter the store. It's just been pure willful damage that unfortunately I'm going to bear the cost of.
Police are asking anyone with information to contact them. A company in regional Queensland is opening the door on a new way of thinking to prevent the spread of germs. Designers have been getting hands-on with 3D printing, creating hands-free door handles.
The coronavirus pandemic has closed businesses and gyms, but opened the door to some creative opportunities. This is the computer design for a door opening device.
So you put your forearm down on it or put your arm into it that way, depending if it's a vertical door. You just push the door open and away it goes.
It means you don't have to touch the handle with your hands, minimising the risk of germs. University of Southern Queensland design company Ellipsis Media has been using a 3D printer to make them.
So once we produced it, we then wanted to test it. So we've got a couple at the university which we're testing and getting feedback on, and that's all been very positive.
It takes around 6 hours to produce one device. The goal now is to make it available to the wider community heading into flu season.
Throughout COVID-19, things have changed and things are different. So we have to think differently.
USQ experts and other business owners are also planning to 3D print hundreds of face shields to tackle statewide shortages.
In these times, innovation and collaboration are the utmost importance.
Carissa Kemp, 7 News.
Well, no amount of social distancing was going to stop this Mackay family from celebrating their mum's milestone 100th birthday. Although hugs were out of the question, the Halls sent their birthday wishes to Beryl from the footpath.
Beryl Hall never imagined she'd be celebrating a century on Earth, let alone in the middle of a global pandemic. But her family weren't going to let that get in the way of marking their mum's milestone.
We didn't think we'd be having anything at all, so this was the best we could do for her.
So Beryl found herself surrounded by family and friends, but from a safe distance. Well wishes were delivered from the footpath.
Happy birthday to you.
Beryl was born in the roaring 20s. At the age of 21, she enlisted in the army and spent a few years fixing American warplanes. But by the 1950s, she was married with 2 children. Now with 7 grandchildren and 16 great-grandchildren, the annual Christmas card handout can get quite busy.
She's happy-go-lucky and always got a big smile on her face and appreciates anything and everything in life.
The new centenarian says she has no regrets and a lot to be grateful for.
Being alive and healthy, living to 100 and seeing what's going on in the world.
All the older and wiser, she has some sound advice in troubled times.
Just go with the flow.
Laura Lavelle, 7 News.
Good on you, Beryl, and a very happy birthday. We'll take a break. Coming up in a moment, Whit Sunday Council pays tribute to our diggers with a virtual dawn service and the viral video laughing in the face of lockdown.
Welcome to my humble abode.
These two mates have almost moved out of home.
You bought a place a few streets from Mum?
Yeah. So he won't need a laundry.
But when they transform his home, Will all his dreams come true?
Amazing.
House Rules High Stakes. Tonight, 7:30 on 7.
Keep your car running smoothly with Autobahn. New Long 5-litre engine oil, only $9.99. Make sure your battery doesn't run flat with 12-volt battery charges from just $44.99. And keep it clean with Armour All Wipes, 2 for $16. In store and online at Autobahn.
Call Transit Tyres for Mickey Thompson Tyres. You'll find our prices very interesting.
Mitre 10 is serious about keeping our community safe. So whether you're staying at home or building someone else's, Mitre 10 is here to help. So stay safe and ask us about our local delivery and pickup options today. That's mighty helpful, Mitre 10.
Imagine if every day was a healthier one. With affordable hospital and extras cover and exceptional service, they can be. Queensland Country Health Fund. Imagine more.
Hi, we're the Pool Smarts guys. Having a pool shouldn't be a chore, so at Pool Smarts, we do it all. From mobile pool vans to a huge range of chemicals, pool and spa equipment, we have it all, so you don't have to do it all. Be smart. Call Pool Smarts.
Suncorp has supported Queenslanders for over 100 years, and while you're staying at home, we'll help keep you covered if you're in hardship. Ask about our financial support and relief options. Visit suncorp.com.au. That's the Suncorp spirit.
Smoother, bolder, comfier, smarter, tougher, stronger, longer, prouder. Gravely zero-turn mowers. See your Gravely dealer.
We're pregnant. Did someone say KFC?
I don't care. I love it. Call Transit Tyres for Michelin tyres. You'll find our prices very interesting.
Please don't do this.
Have some faith.
Oh my God.
3, 2.
All new Aussie First Dates. Tonight on 7.
Are you ready for takeoff?
Yes, baby.
When you're smiling, you can keep on laughing.
We're celebrating the extraordinary. Brand new Britain's Got Talent. Wednesday, 7:30 on 7.
Tasty, affordable and delicious. What's for dinner in the next break with Coles?
Nice having you with us on 7 News. Our police say they're cracking down on known domestic violence offenders, concerned that abuse will skyrocket with people confined to their homes. Specialist police services monitoring those who have a history of domestic violence. Our DV support services say financial stress combined with isolation can be like a pressure cooker for a dangerous home life. Whitsunday Council is urging us to honour a digger on Saturday with traditional Anzac Day tributes cancelled. Council's providing a virtual service and calling on all of us to help by lighting up the dawn from our driveways.
Normally played in front of hundreds of people at dawn, this year in the Whitsundays, the last post will be watched online. The Whitsunday Regional Council has produced a virtual service after the pandemic forced traditional ceremonies to be cancelled. Anzac Day Light Up the Dawn features veterans from across the region.
So I encourage all Whitsunday residents to be on their driveways, their porches, patios at 6 a.m. to honour the fine men and women.
The service will be posted on the Council's Facebook page.
At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them, lest we forget.
The post will be put up on a Friday night, ready for people to watch on Saturday as they line their driveways and light a candle to honour our ex-servicemen and women.
We would normally still commemorate Anzac Day, so doing it on our driveway is just as good as going to the cenotaph.
It'll be an Anzac Day like no other.
It's really important that we all try to get out at dawn on Anzac Day.
Georgia Simpson, 7 News.
A spoof documentary created by a regional Queensland underwear company is gaining traction online for its quirky look at how people are self-isolating during the pandemic. Different species are represented, from panic buyers to day-drinking parents.
For an in-depth look at human nature in lockdown, there's only one unmistakable voice who can paint an adequate picture.
Every household around the world, there are many species of isolators.
Well, it's a good imitation anyway, and it's certainly become a rather wild world, with isolation causing some people to go stir crazy.
The person who isn't taking any chances.
There are the conspiracy theorists, the people who are overly cautious, and the dreaded hoarders destined to destroy our fragile ecosystem.
You can't limit me!
Since restaurants closed, home cooks are dishing up their own a la carte meals.
Needs more salt.
The video, created by underwear company Nobby, has racked up more than 1 million views online.
And I think everybody can relate to at least something in the video there.
Not least all the mums and dads starting homeschooling this week and need a little extra liquid courage to get them through.
That was a part of the reason for the video as well, is we could just have some light-hearted fun with it and just give back.
Oh, great. Ava, draw on the wall, see if I care.
Danielle Pinto, 7 News.
Don't think they missed anyone.
And those final scenes were very reminiscent of my Easter break spent with the boys.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You must have had fun, eh?
Oh, you're big time.
Like all of us, the Cowboys coach missing footy, Nate.
He sure is, Bruffy. Look, Paul Green wants rugby league back as soon as possible, as long as players and staff aren't put at any further risk. We'll hear from him next. Plus a glimmer of hope for our local competitions. And despite the coronavirus, there's overwhelming numbers already signing up for Airlie Beach Race Week.
Gracia here. So for today, what's for dinner recipe, Tassia and I are going to be creating one of our favorite dishes, Hainanese chicken rice.
It is a poached chicken dish served with seasoned rice and 2 of our favorite sauces. So Gracia, let's get cooking.
The first thing we're going to do is going to poach the whole chicken.
These are the vegetables that we're going to put in to make our liquid stock. So I've got some carrots, I'm going to pop that in. I got some brown onion, half of a brown onion, and I got some celery in the fridge, so I'm going to pop that in as well. And don't forget, you need to put some ginger, and we're going to put spring onion.
Now that our stock pot is boiling,
oh my god, Gracia, it smells so good.
We're gonna add our 1 whole chicken, and we're gonna drop it in, and be sure to cover it all with the water. And we're gonna pop the lid back on and turn the heat down to low.
While our chicken is cooking, we're gonna be making our 2 favorite sauces.
So for the chili sauce, Tassia, we're gonna add some ginger. It's okay that the skin is on. We're gonna also be adding some garlic,
some bird eye chili,
wow, and big red chili as well. We're gonna blitz it up to form a rough paste. So to make the second sauce, I've got half a cup of spring onion here, and we're just gonna grate about 2 tablespoons of ginger. So I've gone ahead and heat up about half a cup of vegetable oil, and now to finish, all we have to do.
Oh my god, that looks so good.
And we're gonna season with a bit of chicken salt, a pinch of table salt, and we're just gonna mix.
The chicken has been cooked for 45 minutes. We got some 3 tablespoons of soy sauce and 2 teaspoons of sesame oil, and gently pour it into the poached chicken. To make the seasoned rice, we got 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, 20 grams of chopped garlic, 10 grams of ginger, and 30 grams of shallots. 2 cups of jasmine rice, and about 3 cups of the liquid chicken stock we made earlier. We're gonna cook until all the water is absorbed, and we're gonna turn the heat low and cook it for another 8 minutes. And it's ready.
So there you have it, our what's for dinner, Hainanese chicken rice, the perfect isolation cooking.
So for more recipe like this, head to coles.com.au.
Happy cooking!
This Sport Report brought to you by Autobahn, Greenfields Boulevard, Mount Pleasant.
Welcome back to 7 News. As the NRL forges ahead with its plans for a May 28 return with an interim CEO at the helm, Paul Green has told 7 News the club's committed to getting footy back as soon as possible. But the Cowboys coach believes rules can't be broken and safety can't be compromised in the process.
Meet Dasher, the youngest member of the Green Clan. It's normally the off-season when his dad's home this much.
Getting to spend a lot of time with them at home and doing things that I normally wouldn't have time to do. So I'm just about out of those jobs, though, so bring back the footy.
It's been 33 days since Paul Green was last in the coach's box.
We're keen to start as soon as we can and get back to some sort of normality.
May 28, the NRL's goal, despite the critics.
At least they've sort of come out and made their intentions pretty clear, which is a good thing. So, you know, even if it's a little bit later, you know, it's still, the main thing is that footy gets back playing.
But not at the risk of players, coaches and staff.
From our point of view as a club, we're committed to it, but making sure that it's done in a safe way and we're abiding by the laws at the time too.
However, Greens remaining open-minded, Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk hasn't budged on relaxing COVID-19 restrictions for NRL teams, meaning Queensland clubs could be forced to set up camp south of the border.
It's a huge commitment, and that's why I think it needs to be thought out, and there's a lot of questions that need to be answered before everyone can actually fully commit to it.
For now, Zoom is in overdrive. Staying connected is paramount.
That's something we need to look out for, you know, the mental toll on everyone. These guys are used to seeing each other every day. The team that sort of handles this period the best will certainly get an advantage when we do eventually get back on the paddock.
Meanwhile, NRL Chief Commercial Officer Andrew Abdo has taken the reins as interim CEO of the NRL after Todd Greenberg resigned from the position. Abdo, Broncos CEO Paul White and Melbourne boss Dave Donaghy are in the mix for the full-time position. Jessica Stewart, 7 News.
There's a glimmer of hope tonight for community sporting organisations that are hoping to get competitions up and running at some point this year. The Prime Minister, alongside Professor Brendan Murphy, today announced the first easing of COVID-19 restrictions will begin after this weekend. And while that was only for certain forms of elective surgery, Australia's Chief Medical Officer was also asked about what lay ahead for community sport.
We are obviously concerned about exercise in the community, and small-scale community sport is one thing that could be considered, but we don't want to preempt any of the decisions of National Cabinet. They have asked for a long list of the risks and benefits of a range of things that can be considered at the end of this 4-week period.
Airlie Beach Race Week officials are adamant this year's 32nd event will go ahead, even if it means adapting to new rules and regulations during the ongoing coronavirus crisis. The $6 million week is already gaining major momentum, with organisers hopeful of a 100-strong fleet for August.
Usually a sea of sailing boats, this is a rare sight at the moment in Airlie Beach.
You can see around here that the whole area is pretty barren.
Organisers say they'll do everything possible to make August's $6 million race week run despite COVID-19.
We'll make it work one way or the other. If we can get the people here, we can put on the races. That's our expertise.
That'll be their biggest challenge, with almost 6% of competitors from overseas and nearly 40% from interstate.
It's not that hard to self-isolate on a boat. Anything's possible, as long as the main driver of everything is that everyone stays safe.
Race director Ross Chisholm is adamant they'll adapt accordingly. He's preparing for the worst and best case scenarios.
Introducing a two-handed race, where a series at least, where you only allowed 2 people on each boat.
Organisers sent out invitations to its past and present sailors. So far, they've received 36 entries. That's already a third of their target and triple the numbers as this time last year.
We're at a higher point for entries than we've ever been in April in history. Race Week has become one of the shining jewels on the annual racing calendar on the east coast of Australia, and I don't think anyone wants to give up on those little jewels.
Now it's a watch and wait. Charmaine Mifsud, 7 News.
Yeah, that right there is a sight for sore eyes. Cannot wait for August. Hope it all goes ahead, Bruffy.
Absolutely, mate. Thank you, Nath. We'll have a look at all the weather details right after the break. Liv will join us in a moment here on 7.
I knew those flowers weren't for me. I don't get flowers. I smell flowers and look around for a coffin.
Brand new Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Hello.
Wednesday on 7.
At Kutharinga, North Queensland, our vision is to build a better world with people of all abilities. We want to support you achieve your goals. Let's put ability first. Search Kutharinga, North Queensland.
At Total Tools, we're the experts in tools for tradies. If you've got the job, we've got the tool. We won't be beaten on low prices. Total Tools. Low prices on every tool, for every trade, guaranteed.
30% off the entire range. Patio World is committed to keeping our local economy moving, so we're giving 30% off the entire range. It's the biggest saving we've ever offered, and it won't be repeated, but these are unprecedented times. But here at Patio World, we're still building amazing new lifestyles with our complete range of home improvement products. With the latest procedures and protocols, we want to assure you we are still able to do design consultations and quotes. Keep Queensland moving. Call Patio World now.
No, to tell you the truth, when I started out, I could hardly even swim.
The guy in the hardware store just burst out laughing.
I had to stay below deck. I was so seasick.
So my mum was like, there's no way you're playing football.
Back when I started, I was just trying to grow one plant.
Life doesn't always turn out as we imagine. Australia, you have our support. Find out more at nab.com.au. NAB, more than money.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello?
It's not what you expect.
The game has changed.
G'day, Olivia Regano with tonight's weather. Very warm across Queensland today, mostly from lack of wind. Some heavier clouds affecting tropical areas over coming days, but south of about Mackay it should stay mainly sunny all week. Another mild autumn morning for our neck of the woods, much like yesterday. Tops today were mostly in the low 30s, above the April average by a comfortable margin. Looking on the satellite loop now, fairly bare across Queensland, a few puffs of cloud, as I said, and just sort of straddling the north tropical and central coast. Not very productive in terms of rainfall, and further south there's even less, mostly sunshine. We've got some high clouds streaming across western Queensland that's not producing any rain at all. On today's chart, we've still got a weak high pressure system sitting right on southeast Queensland. It's a broad one though, and descending air under that high is suppressing the formation of cloud, making for clear conditions. It's also making for light wind conditions. There have been a few little fogs reported around. Moving a bit further north in the tropics, onshore wind means more moisture, and that's why the nights have been hotter. On tomorrow's chart, it won't be much the same. One or two very light showers expected around the tropical coast. Again, fine and sunny elsewhere. Starting to warm up at night, but that dry southwesterly is still coming in. Then on the outlook chart, winds become a bit more onshore in the tropics. Couple more showers, but still mainly fine in the vicinity of that high pressure system. Now the latest from the Weather Bureau, the boating forecast for Mackay water. Southwest to southeast winds between 10 and 20 knots tomorrow. A steady 15 to 20 knots on both Thursday and Friday, east to southeasterly. One more day before the moon goes black and the spring tide reaches its peak. Tomorrow there's a morning high tide and an equally large late evening high tide. The Central Coast and Whitsunday, some early fog, then a sunny day to follow. Mackay 20 up to 29 degrees, 32 for Bowen. Proserpine 31. Central Highlands and Coalfields, again some early fog, sunny day. Emerald 15 to 34 degrees. Claremont and Moranbah also a top of 34. Looking ahead for Mackay, a long stretch of pleasantly warm weather with tops close to 30 degrees for about as far as we can see. The odds of rain are less than 20% for most days in the next 7. I said I'd show you a storm photo tonight, but suddenly this perler came up, a rainbow reflected inside a high-altitude shower where the rain evaporates before reaching the ground. Meteorologists call this virga, but I've never seen it lit up by a rainbow. Taken by Jim Campbell from Magnetic Island. Thanks, Jim, and thank you all. Now it's back to the team.
Yeah, wonderful. We've got on you, mate. Thanks very much for your company, folks. If you'd like to watch anything again, our replay in a moment on 7/2. National Bulletin now, and as always, we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow night. Take care. Good night.